Have you ever wondered if there's one thing that could change your entire financial future? Not 10 things, not a miracle, but just one habit, one shift, one decision. Because the truth is, you don't need $1 million inheritance, a Harvard education, or even a genius IQ to change your life. What you do need is consistency, discipline, and a deep understanding of how wealth is really built, not just in your bank account, but in your mind. This isn't about hype. This is about the truth behind the 90-day rule that transformed ordinary people into extraordinary success stories. A principle hidden in plain sight. A habit inspired by Napoleon Hill, the man who interviewed the wealthiest, most powerful figures of his time, and decoded the formula for success. Today, you're going to learn exactly what that habit is, how it works, and why so few ever manage to follow it to the end. But if you do, you won't just be richer, you'll be unrecognizable. So stay with us until the very end, because this might be the last video you ever need to finally take control of your life. Let me ask you something. Are you over 20 years? Do you feel like you should be further along by now? You've worked hard, you've tried, you've read books, watched videos, maybe even started a side hustle or two, but nothing sticks. And deep down, you know you were meant for more. You're not alone. Most people feel this way, but they don't know why. They think it's bad luck, a bad economy, or worse, that there's something wrong with them. But the truth is simpler and far more powerful. The issue isn't your intelligence, it isn't your potential, it's your habits. Because your life is a reflection of what you do consistently, not what you intend, dream, or hope for. Napoleon Hill discovered this over a century ago. He wasn't a millionaire, he wasn't a business tycoon, but he sat down with the men who wore Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and he asked the one question that would change everything. What do all successful people do differently? And after 20 years of research, he published a map, a mental blueprint for building wealth, purpose, and freedom. The world knows it as Think and Grow Rich, but what the world often misses is the foundation behind the philosophy. One practice, shared by every single man he studied. And that's where real transformation begins. Not with the hacks, not with the trends, but with a return to the basics. Because while most people chase shiny objects and quick fixes, the successful return to the essential. They build lives worth living on the back of one simple, powerful, well-practiced habit. Motivation fades, energy comes and goes, but a habit stays. And that habit, repeated every day, becomes the bridge between your dreams and your reality. So what's the real problem? Why do most people never make it? It's because they live like time is unlimited. They wake up tired, they hit snooze, they rush to survive the day. Then, they repeat, and the years pass, and with them, every opportunity. Not because they weren't smart enough, but because they never built the discipline to follow through. We live in a distracted world. Social media, constant notifications, binge-worthy shows. Everything around you is designed to hijack your attention. And the more distracted you are, the further you drift from the life you want. You feel busy, but you're not productive. You feel overwhelmed, but nothing changes. You start things, but never finish. You get inspired, but never follow through. Sound familiar? That's not because you're lazy. It's because you lack clarity, direction, discipline. You're trying to build a life without a blueprint. But success doesn't happen by accident. It begins with a decision, a commitment to one habit, practiced with intention, until it reshapes who you are from the inside out. Napoleon Hill called this the definite chief aim, a clear, emotional, unshakable purpose, repeated daily with conviction. He discovered that every successful person he interviewed had one thing in common. They started their day by declaring what they wanted, why they wanted it, and who they were becoming. They spoke it with emotion, with belief, and they did it every single day. Sounds simple, maybe even silly, but that's where its power lies. Most people don't do it not because it doesn't work, but because it feels uncomfortable. They want something more complex, something that feels more impressive. But the truth is, this one habit is enough to change everything. It reconnects you to your purpose. It reprograms your mind. And it gives you clarity when the world tries to pull you in every direction. And here's the catch: it's easy in the beginning. The first few days, you're excited. You wake up early, you say your purpose out loud, you feel the energy, like the universe is finally working with you. But then, the old habits come knocking. The mind starts to whisper, "This is stupid. It's not working. You're wasting your time." And if you listen to those voices, you lose. That's when the real battle begins. Not against the world, but against yourself. Against your doubts, your fears, your excuses. Against the voice that says, everyone else is further along. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. What if this is all just a waste? But here's the truth. Persistence is the secret ingredient. Not motivation, not talent. Persistence, especially when it's boring, especially when it's hard, especially when nothing seems to be working. And over time, something incredible happens. You begin to hear the voice of self-doubt, but you don't believe it anymore because you've built something stronger, your identity. You're no longer someone who wants success. You're someone who creates it. Day by day, thought by thought, repetition by repetition. And here's what nobody tells you. Your environment will resist. Your body will resist. Even your friends might think you've changed. but you must go through that resistance. Because on the other side is your new self, not driven by feelings, but by integrity. A commitment you made with yourself, in silence, without applause, without validation. And around day 43, something clicks. You're reading your purpose as usual, but this time, you feel it. You're not just saying words. You believe them deeply, and the world starts to shift. That deal you were waiting for finally comes through. That call from someone you thought had forgotten, it comes. That unexpected opportunity appears. Coincidence? Maybe, but it always happens when you act as if you already are the person you want to become. Because that's the point. Transformation starts with invisible changes, micro decisions, a mindset that no longer negotiates with excuses. You start saying no to what doesn't serve you. You protect your time. You speak with confidence. You take care of your health. You become someone worth trusting. And suddenly, things that used to be hard now come naturally. Because you're not faking it anymore. You are it. And when you change internally, the world notices. Your relationships shift. Your results improve. Your confidence rises. All because of one habit that seemed too simple to work. But it did. Because you worked it. And here's the best part: by day 90, you're not just more disciplined. You're a different person. You have clarity. You know what you want, what you won't tolerate, where you're going. You become more selective with who you allow into your space, more direct in your conversations, more confident in your decisions. That daily practice of affirming your purpose acts like a filter. It blocks out the noise, the distractions, the nonsense, and it sharpens your focus on what really matters. You might even find yourself making more money, not because you chased it, but because you became the person who attracts it. Because a focused mind creates focused action, and focused action creates real results. These 90 days teach you something no school ever will. Success isn't about brilliance. It's about consistency, about doing what works, especially when it's boring, about staying the course when others quit. Napoleon Hill said, "You become what you think about most of the time." And if you spend 90 days thinking about your purpose, your next level, your new identity, you become that. People might ask, "What happened to you?" And you can smile, because they're only seeing the result, not the 90 days you spent alone, repeating your goal, believing before there was any proof. And now I ask you, how many people do you know who are stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, debt that steals their peace just because they never took the time to write clearly what they actually wanted from life? One habit, that's it. But it only works if you take it seriously. If you stop waiting for motivation, if you realize success is a staircase and the first step is invisible. And here's the final truth. No one tells you that change is uncomfortable, lonely. It feels pointless at first, but if you have the courage to keep going for 90 days, you'll prove to yourself that you can change anything. This habit isn't magical. It's not easy, but it's real. It requires a promise to yourself that you'll look in the mirror and say, "I deserve more." And then that you'll follow through every day, especially when no one's watching, especially when no one claps. If you could go back in time, maybe you'd start sooner. You'd stop looking for shortcuts. And you'd understand that freedom doesn't come from speed, it comes from consistency. You'd trust the process more. Doubt less. And that's why I say, don't wait. Start today. Grab a piece of paper, write your purpose, read it out loud, twice a day, with belief, with emotion, for 90 days. Then come back here and tell us what changed. Because something will, but more than anything, apply it. The world doesn't need more motivated people. It needs more decided ones. If this message resonated with you, make sure to subscribe for more powerful insights like this. Drop a like, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to check out the next video we've left for you right here. It just might be the key to your next breakthrough.